For years, Canadians have welcomed him into their homes. He starts their day with a moment to reflect or even a laugh. But the funny thing is, most people don't know Brian Gable. They simply know his work. You'll find it in the back pages of the Globe and Mail in a 4-inch by 4-inch political cartoon. Now, without much fanfare, Brian is marking a milestone. 25 years at the Globe and 25 years as part of your morning routine. So we thought it about time we met the man behind the image.
Brian Gable's every day begins, much like his career, with a doodle.
I was sitting in an English class, first year university. I was doodling in my margins of what should have been my notes. The person sitting beside me had just signed up for the student newspaper and looked over and said, "Oh, I think someone said at the paper we're looking for a cartoonist. Do you think you'd like to submit?" So I did.
Because the doodles in your margins were that good?
No, I think they were just really desperate for a cartoonist.
His self-deprecating humor betrays his talent.
I'm probably one of the few people on planet Earth today that wonders what color Lance Armstrong's running shoes would be.
7 national newspaper awards.
I think they'll be blue.
And a career budding political cartoonists could only dream of.
Watch the letter page on Saturday as people point out that he's never worn blue running shoes in his life.
So would you believe Brian Gable didn't set out to be an artist?
Do you want me to speak in a normal voice?
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
Okay?
Good.
Perfect levels.
In fact, for nearly a decade, he was Mr. Gable, the high school teacher. That is until his love of drawing took over and he started filing 1 cartoon a week for the local paper in Brockville, Ontario. 10 years later, he had climbed to one of the most prestigious papers in the country.
Do you ever reflect on your good fortune that you've been able to be inside people's homes for 25 years? I mean, that's a real intimacy that you've had with Canadians.
It's something I don't think about because it might possibly give me stage fright.
His drawings are like a lesson in history. Remember when William Shatner was rumored to be running for Governor General in 2010? When Obama could do no wrong in the 2008 election? Or the sex scandal dogging the Italian Prime Minister last year amid the Euro debt crisis? It's a freeze frame in time, encapsulating a day's events and a nation's sentiment.
What makes a good political cartoon?
The first fundamental thing is that people have to know what you're trying to say. And then you hopefully say it in such a way that they laugh or they're moved.
Brian's job is profoundly solitary. His sketches made in the quietude of his kitchen at a computer, where he brings them to life on a digital tablet. But back when he began...
Here we are, in the archives.
Back before the delete button.
This was from the pre-drawing on computer.
Every image was done in ink.
So you've actually got whiteout on this.
Oh, indeed.
You used to use whiteout.
Actually kept the whiteout industry in business for many years.
The exclusive club of political cartoonists in Canada counts no more than 30 to its roster. Among them, Brian Gable's longtime colleague, Tony Jenkins.
As a cartoonist and as a man, he's ordinary. People would expect a cartoonist, especially a high-level one, to be, Robin Williams on speed or a real Mr. Zany, and he's not even close to that.
Do you think Brian Gable, in all his modesty, prefers to be anonymous?
No, I think he wants to be on a stamp real bad.
Really?
Maybe on a $10 bill.
There is no formula to creating a good political cartoon. If you've got it, it just comes naturally.
You can learn to tap dance. You can't learn to be funny, I don't think.
But funny isn't always the goal.
Cartoons will first make you laugh, but they also make you react or think.
At the McCord Museum in Montreal, a collection of hundreds of political cartoons tells a darker story.
Cartoons don't only comment history, it makes history.
Christian Vachon is the exhibit's curator.
It's another shooting. It's about what happened in Oslo. It's cartoons commemorating the attack.
This is very different than your Sunday morning cartoons.
It is.
It's this provocative side to cartooning that can also be so very controversial.
I've sat in conferences with cartoonists who've just been released from dungeons, literally, because of cartoons that they've drawn.
In Canada, political cartoonists have had to hire security guards. And around the world, the power of a single image has left hundreds dead, like the backlash to a Danish cartoon back in 2006 that depicted the Prophet Muhammad.
Is my normal job when I wake up in the morning, like, do I don a flak jacket? No. But occasionally, very spirited responses will erupt from a cartoon that's drawn.
Spirited such as?
Death threats.
You've had them?
Yes, and they're not entirely rare, but really,
They're not rare.
I don't think.
How many death threats have you received?
I don't know, a couple, maybe, in a 30-year.
Too many.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why, at least to some, a political cartoon is more than a place for your coffee stain in the morning. It's something prized.
On your left?
Collected. Why, in the basement of the McCord Museum, you'll find the largest private collection of political cartoons in the country.
How many are here?
There's about 30,000.
From the oldest Canadian one in existence,
This cartoon dates to 1759.
1759, to the 50s, when political cartooning came into its own in Canada.
We have an original Brian Gable work here.
Can you look at an image without seeing who the author is and know, oh, that's Brian Gable?
Yes, I can. His style is very unique.
That style, epic scenes, and an attention to detail has become Brian's signature.
Maybe the most important thing about cartooning is just the very existence of a part of a serious page in the newspaper given over to mocking and criticizing power.
They say it takes 6 seconds to take in a political cartoon. Through a quarter century with the Globe and Mail, Brian Gable has had 39,000. Not bad for a university student with a knack for doodling.
And that is our broadcast for tonight. I'm Carolyn Jarvis. From all of us here at 16 by 9, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.